you know it's dangerous to go alone. So take these Zelda secrets and facts I wish I knew back in the day. Let's get started. If this is your first time here at the channel, my name is Tyler, and if you love gaming from all generations like we do here at G3, then consider hitting that subscribe button and hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss anything. It was fall of 1987, and a 5-year-old me couldn't wait to get to the electronics department at our Hills department store. Of course, I was already obsessed with the NES at this point, so I was in heaven looking at all the games on the shelf. But there was this new game in a gold box that I'd never seen before. I walked closer to it and noticed that it had a hole in the upper left-hand corner exposing the golden ridges of the cartridge. I remember thinking, is this cartridge made of gold? What is this game? It has to be amazing. The bottom of the box read The Legend of Zelda, and I honestly didn't even need to look at the back of the box to know that I had to have that game. Luckily, it was my birthday week and I was able to take it home that day. Little did I know this box I held in my hands was going to launch my passion for video games that still holds strong today. I know my story isn't absolutely unique, and you may even have a similar story about the game that sparked your love for games, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if that game is The Legend of Zelda 2. I mean, the story, the epic music, and exploring this wonderful new world of Hyrule created a true obsession for me. I honestly could not get enough Zelda, and it's not like I could get on the internet and find a Wikipedia page telling me all about the game, so you literally had to learn by word of mouth from your friends at school and just good old-fashioned trial and error if you wanted to make it through the game. Anytime I heard about or found something new in the game, it felt like a real accomplishment because you definitely had to put the time in to progress in Zelda. I've literally been playing this game for over 30 years and have learned many facts and tips in that time. I'm now going to share with you the history and secrets about the NES Legend of Zelda that I wish I could have told that 5-year-old kid on his way home from Hills that day. Let's start off with a quick history lesson about the game. The development of The Legend of Zelda began back in 1984 in Japan and was directed and designed by Shigeru Miyamoto and Takashi Tezuka. The game was set to be the headlining launch title for the upcoming Japanese peripheral, the Famicom Disk System, which is a floppy disk-based add-on to enhance the original Japanese Famicom. The floppy disks allowed for 128 kilobytes of space to store a game, which is much higher than the standard cartridge at the time, which could only hold about 40 kilobytes. Miyamoto's inspiration for Zelda came from his own childhood memories of exploring forests and caves while he lived in Kyoto. He preferred roaming around the countryside without a map, hoping to make some unexpected and amazing discoveries, and with more than 3 times the capacity of the usual Famicom cartridge, the disk system was the perfect platform at the time to design the immersive new world of Hyrule. Bringing this new world to life not only needed great visual style, but an equally paired musical score which Nintendo placed in the hands of Koji Kondo. The opening title theme for The Legend of Zelda is one of the most iconic songs in all of gaming. But did you know this was not the original theme for the opening crawl? Kondo originally went with the classical piece Ravel's Bolero. I hope I'm saying that right, because he believed it matched the opening crawl and title screens very well. In Japan, music is considered under copyright up to 50 years following the death of a composer, and Ravel had been dead for 49 years and 11 months when the developers realized the song was still under copyright. They literally were less than a month away from the song being public domain, but they didn't have time to wait because they would miss the deadline for the launch of the disk system. So Kondo literally had to pull an all-nighter to compose the beloved opening theme we know today. I mean, can you imagine the Zelda franchise today without this theme? And to think what masterful work Kondo accomplished in just one night. It's absolutely amazing. The Legend of Zelda finally launched in Japan on February 21st, 1986 on the disk system, and a year later in North America on August 22nd, 1987 with that unforgettable gold cartridge. As of March 2018, this game has sold more than 6.5 million units worldwide. I have one major regret with this game, and it's what I wish I could go back and tell my 5-year-old self the most. It's even hard to talk about it now. And what's crazy is I actually remember doing this right when I got home that day. I immediately ran to the living room, ripped the box open, yes I said ripped, popped the cartridge in my NES and started playing. After playing a while, I picked up the box and threw it in the trash. That's right, I threw it in the trash.
That's impossible!
I didn't even take out the manual or the map, which ironically is the way Miyamoto intended for the game to be played. Miyamoto actually said the maps included various hints, but to be honest, I thought it would be more enjoyable to play the game without any help. So we sealed the map with a message reading, "You should only use the map and strategic tips as a last resort," but everyone breaks the seal. I honestly didn't even have a physical copy of the map or instruction manual until I was an adult. I definitely would go back and show this crazy kid all the awesome facts he missed in the manual and the map, and I'd also make sure to tell him to keep all of his games and boxes to cherish in the future. I mean, just look at the beautiful artwork in the manual. Miyamoto even said one function of the booklet was to reinforce the feeling of the game's epic setting. He also said that they included that image of Link holding up the sign to look up the manual for details was to encourage people to read the included manual and get more immersed in the story. Flipping through the manual even today is such a joy for me, and there are a few little gems I found in here hidden in plain sight. First off, the manual calls the Zelda currency we all know are called rupees, rubies. I guess this was probably lost in translation from the Japanese manual, which is beautiful too, by the way. Another strange part of the manual that always confused me was where it says the Pole's voice enemies hate loud noise. I never understood this reference until I saw a James and Mike Monday episode 3 years ago. This weakness was only meant for the Famicom version cause it has a built-in microphone in the second controller, that you can literally scream whatever you want when a Pole's voice is on screen and it immediately kills them all. And if you didn't know already, the Pole's voice are sensitive to arrows on the NES version since there's no built-in microphone. This next secret in the manual is my favorite, but I have a confession to make first. I just realized this secret during my research preparing for this video. I've looked through this manual plenty of times and I don't know how I haven't seen this until now. I always believed the recorder was only used to reveal the secret passage to the 7th dungeon and to aid you in fighting Dig Dogger. But right there on page 26 of the NES manual, it states that when you've collected all the pieces of the triforce, you can use the recorder, which they oddly call the whistle by the way, to summon a whirlwind to take you to the entrance of the final dungeon. How did I miss this? 30 years of obsessing over this game and I just find this out now? I still can't believe I overlooked this, but it was such a joy to again find something new about this masterpiece. When I finally got my hands on the sealed map included with the game, my heart sank a little because I realized how much help this would have been all those hours I spent bombing and burning everything in sight trying to find the next special item or dungeon I needed. And I know they're called labyrinths, but I think we can agree that dungeons just sounds cooler. The overworld map is a 16x8 cube grid and most of the map layout is revealed to you, which really gives you quite an advantage and definitely makes the world feel less overwhelming. It also shows you where the first 4 dungeons are located, as well as some screens with a question mark that you obviously need to search a little harder to try to find something special. I mean, don't get me wrong, I thoroughly enjoyed exploring the game all those years without a map, but I feel it gives you just enough clues to let you know you're on the right track, and I know without a doubt I would have loved filling in the drawings on the map screens you discover. I know many people, including myself in the past, have said that the game can be a little too cryptic at times, but I definitely feel the clues from Impa that they leave on the back of the map are extremely helpful to steer you in the right direction to find the 7th through 9th dungeons. I mean, they even tell you how to draw a map of each dungeon, and that's just awesome. And did you know why the developers made all those strange layouts of the first 6 dungeons like the eagle, snake, or moon? Well, the dungeon maps use the same 16x8 block grid that the overworld map did for efficiency's sake. They were specifically designed to fit like puzzle pieces on one of those 16x8 grids. And the blocks left over were able to store data for the underground treasure rooms and secret passages. And remember the letter the old man gives you to show the old woman so she'll allow you to purchase some health potions? I mean, this text is not found in the game anywhere, but the Legend of Zelda encyclopedia has the actual text for the letter the developers came up with. It states, "This heroic lad is an acquaintance of Impa. Please give him aid." And it further states that the old man and old woman are actual childhood friends who try to help each other out. I mean, what retro gamer doesn't love this kind of stuff? And who can forget the iconic phrase, "It's dangerous to go alone, take this," from the cave you first found the wooden sword. I don't know any gamer my age that doesn't know exactly what game you're talking about when you say those words. I mean, I even have a t-shirt with this scene on it, and it's the skin for my 3DS. But what if I told you this scene was almost not included in The Legend of Zelda? I'm not kidding. Miyamoto originally had the player begin with the sword already equipped in the early game designs. But apparently this was confusing to Japanese test players and they really had trouble navigating Hyrule and interacting with the characters properly. So Miyamoto decided to place that little black cave for you to discover on the first screen so you would be encouraged to interact and trust people in the game. This is why I find The Legend of Zelda so fascinating. This is a game I've played multiple times a year for over 30 years and I'm still finding out new secrets and history even to this day. Now, you may have already known all the secrets and facts I've shared today, but I really hope you learned something new about the game and maybe got to relive some old wonderful memories you've had playing the game. If you have any secrets from The Legend of Zelda you feel like sharing, I would love to hear them. And it would really mean a lot to me if you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Till next time guys, G3 out.